Hey everyone, welcome back to another Godzilla Battle Line video, and I just recorded this. It took me like 12 minutes to get all my thoughts out, and then I went to go back and watch it just before I posted it, and the audio in-game was way too loud. I couldn't even hear myself speak. I'm doing it again. Hopefully now I can collect my thoughts in a more reasonable way. I want to talk about All-Star Battle, the latest All-Star Battle event, and my thoughts on it. And the reason I wanted to put my thoughts on it is because it's the first All-Star Battle with a limited roster. So I figured I'm done with the All-Star Battle. I figured that this is as good a time as any to give my thoughts. So they limited the amount of characters we could use this season up to, 50 characters. First of all, they changed the reward structure. I'm just going to get that out of the way. This reward structure is amazing. Big fan. Big fan of this. They should keep this. It's awesome. Using the limited number of units, I'm not a big fan of. But I'm in two camps of thought right now. I do not think the limited amount of units is an issue for long-time or veteran players. I do think that the limited units is an issue for newer players and, mid-game players. The list of units that they gave out are as follows. Mothra Larva, Jet Jaguar 20... I'll just show you. Flashbang. Mothra Larva, Jet Jaguar 2021, Rodan 1993, Desghidorah, Kiryu, Godzilla 1954, Jet Jaguar 1973, Godzilla 2001, King Ghidorah 2019, Mothra 2019, Godzilla Millennium, Megalon, Rainbow Mothra, Wakasabe Godzilla, or Wakasabe version, Godzilla Tokyo version, Thousand Year Dragon King Ghidorah, Biollante, Wakasabe version, and Naranga, and Godzilla 2021 and Eva Zero. Smoke them if you got them is kind of the memo there. If you don't have them, you're not going to be able to rent them. If you do have them, you can use them. Additionally, with this, every bronze unit, every gold unit, and every silver unit are available, except for the collaboration ones, unless explicitly stated. So I said Naranga is available, but Kumo Augment and the Angels, Amophilus, are not. The issue with the character list is Mothra, Jet Jaguar, Rodan, Desghidorah, Kiryu, Godzilla 1954 are all characters from 2021. So if you are a long-term player, I'm a day one player. I have all of those characters in the 20s. They are all level 20 or higher for me. Jet Jaguar 1973 is from February of 2022. He is still a year one character because he came out before the first anniversary of the game. I have him also in the 20s. I'm a long-term player. Godzilla 2001 is from February of 2023. King Ghidorah and Mothra 2019 are from May of 2023. Godzilla 1999 and Megalon are from, August of last year. Rainbow Mothra, Wakasabe version are from October, because September was Gamera, and he's not available in this. October, Rainbow Mothra, Wakasabe version. Then Godzilla Tokyo version is November. It was Super Godzilla, and then him in November. Then December was -1. Then Thousand Year Dragon, King Ghidorah, Waka, Biollante are from this month. So Thousand Year Dragon, Ghidorah, Biollante are the only characters from 2024 that are available for this event. Tokyo everything up from that I said until Godzilla 21 are from 2023. Only one character from 2022, because most of 2022 was collab units. And then a lot of year one characters. So the issue here is the characters that you have available to use, half of them are really new. Half of them are less than a year old. Some of them are only a few months old. So players, long-term and newer, do not have access to as many pieces necessary that would be maybe viable for endgame. I see a lot of players stuck in the 70s, in the 60s, in the 80s, in the 90s. It's only 190, but people can't beat the final wave because they don't have the levels on some of the guys that you might need to beat that final wave. I myself found most of my gameplay was using crutches. I'm using Naranga, Anguirus, Caesar, and I shouldn't say they're crutches because they are characters in the game that you can use freely. But traditionally, if you go back and watch a lot of my streams for All-Star Battles, I'm using only 4 stars normally. I leaned really heavily on the 3 stars and the bronze this season. I got a lot of mileage out of Stealth Bomber and what's his name, Manila. But if you look at the list, out of all the characters they gave us, characters that are widely used in the meta at this current time, Mothra Larva, Godzilla 2001, cool. King Ghidorah 2019, Mothra 2019, and that's not even used a ton. That's just a character that is really good, that if you have him leveled up, people are using him. And then Rainbow Mothra, because he's rentable. Thousand Year Dragon and Bylante. So what is that? 7 or 8 characters that are meta relevant that you probably will have leveled up, and then the rest of them are just kind of throwaways. So you don't need them, right? If you're a new player, you're probably not investing a lot in Jet Jaguar Singular Point, or Fire Rodan, or Desghidorah, because you can't... For Desghidorah, it's hard to get pieces for him, frankly. But for Rodan, Jet Jaguar, Kiryu also meta relevant, but that's a leader. Both Jet Jaguars, actually, Megalon, Wakabe Godzilla, Tokyo version Godzilla, you're not, as a new player, probably not investing in them. And the only reason a lot of people do have levels on them is they probably invested in them when their seasons were live. So, for older players, I do not think that this event limitation is an issue, because you probably have had enough time to upgrade at least most of these characters to 5 or higher. And even if the ones that are like 5 or lower, 10 or lower that you're not going to use, your silver units are probably level 30, your bronze are probably level 30, your golds are probably level 30, and you're going to do fairly well. Not all of my characters are level 30, because you don't have to, you know, I do a level duper rarity. You don't have to, or traditionally you do not have to spend on your whole roster. You could just, instead of going wide, you could go tall. And by that I mean only invest in the characters that you're going to use, keep your roster relatively thin. You go wide, it means everything is bulky. With the way this is running, Toho is kind of pushing people into the mindset of, okay, you should take all of your lower class, lower ranking characters up to maybe 30, because you want to have a viable team in All-Star Battle, because it looks like everything from gold and under is just always going to be viable, with some restrictions like the collab units. So I have most of the gold units at level 30. I think I have all of them at level 30. I'm not counting kids. Otherwise, they're all level 30. Silvers. Do I have all the silvers at 30? No. I almost have all the silvers at 30. And then all the bronze, I have almost all the bronze at 30. But I feel like I leveled up all the really ones that are necessary. And I got a lot of mileage out of the bronze and the golds. The silvers, I only really used King Caesar and Anguirus. So newer players probably have some of these leveled up, but not a lot of the 4 stars. But not all of your bronze units at 30 are going to beat the Godzilla Earth Wave. Wave 89, Wave 88. You know, these are big hitter parts of the game that, frankly, I don't think some of these units are capable of handling on their own. So that's the problem for new players, is that the problem for new players is that Toe's kind of making us lean really heavily on new characters or older characters. Nothing really in between. Not that that's going to make a huge difference, but a lot of the older characters you're probably not investing in, because the way that the character investment system works in this game, or the loop, is like, hey, new month is out. Frankly, since -1 has dropped, every month the characters have been absolutely fucking busted. Every time. -1 and Ginza cracked. This month, Bylante, Thousand Year Dragon, cracked. What was the month before this? I'm sure it was something ridiculous, and I'm just not... Oh, I'm sorry. Mogera and Fukuoka Space Godzilla cracked. So they've pretty much had every month something just be like ridiculous, off the charts, good. You're really not investing a lot of your resources into these older units, especially if they're not seeing meta play. If they're not rentable, you're not going to level them up because you don't get the extra benefit from the renting, so you don't get the benefit out of them that month, and they're probably just going to get curb stomped in the arena anyway. I'm not a huge fan of this in general, like this whole limited units thing. For the older players who are unhappy with it, I am 100% sympathetic with you, but I also do not think that it's going to be a very big deal for you. Any newer players that I've seen handle this event, they're still clearing it like it's just another day. Newer players, mid-game players, this sucks for you big time. I know already for the egg mode, you guys get shafted a lot because you might not have characters that are within the constraints, and you might not just be even able to participate. This as well, if you do not have a lot of these characters, they'll be rented to at level 1, but what is a level 1 Rainbow Mothra realistically going to do on that, like, Earth wave? You know, what is a level 1 Godzilla Tokyo version or Wakasa Bay version? I know people this season who still don't have Thousand Year Dragon or the new Bylante, and they're getting absolutely fucked on this event. The Thousand Year Dragon Ghidorah pretty much solos every single character. So having him at a reasonable level in this is really good. I'm not a huge fan of the rentable characters. I think it's really bad for the new players and the mid-game players. And so those are the players that you need to retain in the game. Long-term players like me, we're in it. We're already in it. We are so cooked. Our wallets are so fucked. We're already in it. We're not going anywhere, right? We might trickle in and out. It's the new players and the mid-game players you want to keep in the game to convert them into long-time players and inevitably spenders. I think this is extremely unplayer-friendly. I would prefer if maybe we could organize our own lineups of characters. I doubt it. I really hope that this just gets inevitably reversed. Because this is really bad. I'm sure we'll have an all-star battle eventually down the line that has like a bunch of really cracked forces. Be like, here's both -1s and Fukuoka and Mogera and Thousand Year Dragon and Bylante and, you know, whoever else. Batra and Mothra Leo. But this lineup kind of blows cheeks. I do not like it. And I do not think that this is a good thing for the game. I think overall this is bad. And I think for new players, this hurts them the most. And I am not a huge fan of it. So this was a rant video. I hope my thoughts were cohesive and I got my point across. I'm not entirely sure because I pretty much just spent this entire time rambling. And I hope it got through to somebody. So let me know what you guys thought about the restrictions and the new kind of all-star battle that they do. I read all the comments. I'm psychotic, so if you commented, I'll read it for sure. Let me know what you think down below, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.